You know what we should do, boys and girls? None other than security control. So, you know, security control is one of those decks that are just straight up your opponent plays themselves. It feels like that lab partner you had in high school or middle school that just never wanted to cooperate and give any time, and you put in all the work for it and they still get an A. That's security control in a nutshell, boys and girls. Nothing more than fluff with a lot of hits, and your opponent just does all the work while you just sit back, relax, and just sip on that lemonade that you well deserve. So without further ado, let's dive into security control. So here is the security control list that I am bringing you to today, boys and girls. It's a very interesting deck, not gonna lie. It's a very powerful deck indeed, since we do gain a few cards like Atomic Blaster, Iron Fist, Shorga. I'm not going to be able to pronounce this. Sounds like a German name, and I am not good with even English pronunciation. We also gain this Memory Booster, Wyvern's Breath. Stuff like this is really rare to see. More options to control board state, punish your opponent, just give them the 1-2 punch they deserve. There's nothing more than I love while watching my opponent struggle to get to that win, but get brought down to the abyss just to realize they didn't have a shot at getting through your security. So let's go over the list real quick, boys and girls, and then I'll give some suggestions at the end of the video where what decks you might like to use, what maybe support cards might help out that might benefit this deck even going further. So first off, we have Ridemyavatar. So when attacking, this Digimon attacks a player, it gets 1000 DP, making sure Arceus Gallimon has 12,000 at least to hit that threshold to survive into swings. We play at least 2 of the Warp Digi-Evolution from the starter deck Gallimon. So while your opponent has a level 6 or higher Digimon, you may Digivolve this into a Gallimon in your hand, or Digi-Evolution costs 4, ignoring its requirements. This is where Reinforcement Booster, Memory Booster comes in handy, where if they've been choking us and we haven't set up anything like our Izzy or Izzy Joe with a TK on board or anything like that, so that we're gaining up to 5 memory, then we at least have a way of using the Memory Booster. If they're choking us at 1, we can go to 4, go into Gallimon, and just clear out for game. Sometimes with security control, we are creating so much board state that they can't just remove. We remove so much of their threats that their their drop zone goes way up to almost 20-30 very easily. So we just want to make sure that their trash is always up there. So we play Lucemon for that lovely recovery and combos in with Magnadramon. Magnadramon is in here to play Lucemon. Lucemon's in here to be played by Magnadramon, or we hard cast it on the rare occasions. Magnadramon is straight up here just to recover us 2, and then play us a Lucemon the following turn, and just keep doing that until Magnadramon is removed. We do play this Cordramon because security control doesn't have much in the draw advantage department, but with this Cordramon security at the end of battle, play this Digimon without paying its memory cost, which is fantastic if it's revealed in security. We also get to draw 2 cards when it's hard played. We like to have some draw advantage. It's slightly better than Zudamon, in my opinion, because this is popped in security as well. So if it's magically there, we'll find out with the TK, and we'll leave it in there and just let our opponent hit into it. Pop goes the Weasel. We get a +2 out of this deal so easily. We have Magnadramon or on play recovery +1. Really good going first, slamming this down. Bada bing, bada boom. We're not really too worried about anything else like that. And then we get that free security gain that we love so much. And then we have the insecurity, your turn, this Digimon gets +1000 DB for every 3 security. So if we go into, let's say, Shikuyamon's really nice. Opponent's turn, when your opponent moves a Digimon from breeding areas to battle area, gain security -3. So red likes to hang back a lot of decks like to hang back. This now prevents your opponent swinging in with their OTK combos and stuff like that with, let's say, Ancient Garurumon, with Bonds of Friendship, just being able to promote up and then swing in 3 to 4 times, which we don't want them to do. Or even with Jessamon hanging in the back, pulls it up. It's going to have -3 security. They're not going to be able to swing in for damage, which buys us a turn to kill off anything they're trying to do. All your opponent's security Digimon gets -3000 DP. We love having the minus to prevent our opponent's mons from killing ours. We don't have a very high ceiling for attacks, but at least with Sakuyamon, we can get there in with pokes, which is really amazing in my opinion. Next, let's talk about the good old classic. I didn't mention Nemagalmon. I feel dumb about this, but if you have a red Tamer destroy one of your opponent's 6000 DP or less, don't care about not what it's here for. It's for when attacking. For every 10 cards your opponent's trash, discard one of your opponent's security. That is what I'm talking about, boys and girls. Being able to trash free damage. This thing deals 2 damage on its own, which makes our opponent just cringe so badly. Next, we have Chaos Voldararm to be able to Digivolve on top of our Magna Dramon, or our Sakuyamon being able to activate the following effect twice, -7000 DP. Killing off 4000 DP mons are really good, and we gain 3003 memory when we die on this card. So a lot of players know how to play around Voldararms, so don't rely on it too heavily. But we also play Omnimon's Reward. The attacking Digimon does not battle this security Digimon. Play this card without paying its memory cost. No biggie deal there. When it's in security, it ends the battle, and it doesn't even battle and kill off something. But when Digivolving, delete one of your opponent's Tamers, and then on deletion, delete one of your opponent's Digimon. So we hope for it to die. If it dies, we get a plus out of this. Ultimate Flare is in here to de-Digivolve our opponent by 3 Digimon, and one of your opponent, and then we can delete a whole bunch of play cost 3 or less, which usually means their rookies are kind of gone. Bye-bye, not worth our time. Next, we have Joswazimer. So we don't care about the Musketeer, but delete all your opponent's Digimon with play cost 7 or lower. This is Nidhogg for us, almost, where we don't mind and we drop this, clear out the board state, and just call it a day. Next, we have Iron Fist Onslaught. Delete all your opponent's Digimon with the highest play cost. That means Rookie Rush, boys and girls, which is this deck's kind of weakness a bit. That means we delete their whole 2-drop system, and it's sad. If we can do this early enough, we keep clearing the board, clearing their board, clearing their board, clearing the board, clearing the board. They can't get everything off, and they're stuck. Gaia Force, delete one of our opponent's Digimon, especially when they swing in with those big towers. This flips up first. They feel the pain. They cry if they didn't have dedicated plan to prevent this. Atomic Blasters in here to delete any number of our opponent's Digimon whose total DP is 8000 or less. Activation, main effect, and security. This allows us to delete multiple Digimon at once or one ultimate stack very easily. Or we can delete a rookie and a champion very easily. Next, we have Reinforced Memory Boost. Reveal the top 2 cards of your deck. Place one among them face down on the top of your security stack. The remaining card into your hand. This lets your opponent know what's waiting for them. Let's say you activate this card. You look at the top 2. You see a Zwart defeat, and let's say you have Magna Angemon. You're going to grab the Magna Angemon, put it to your hand, and then put Zwart defeat on the top. Your opponent knows it's there, and they now have to think what they're going to do if that thing flips. It is a mind tactic and a half when you get your cards that pop in security to come back. They are a lot more afraid, and they can't handle it sometimes. With the delay, you gain 3 memory, which is very solid for security control. Next, we do have Wyvern's Breath. Main effect, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 15,000 DP for the turn for an 8 cost. This is the highest removal I've seen for yellow that is very unconditional, where every other deck has had this weird condition gimmick that they had to meet before they even got close to getting to 15. This card is just 8-drop, kill it. Not many decks can deal with that. We do play Izzy, so if you have 2 or memory or less, set it to 3. But it also revealed the top 3 cards of your deck. If all revealed cards were black, gain 1 memory, place the card at the top of any order. So he can come in for 3 if we hit our options and Tamers, but more than likely he's not going to be that 3 we want. He's going to be that 4 that gives to your opponent. But with that, you now have the knowledge of knowing what's on the top of your deck, and now you can play your recovery spells a little bit in the way you want. So that's why we use him. Next, we do have Izzy Joe Kita. So if your opponent has 2 or more Digimon in play, gain 2 memory. This is the easiest gain 2 memory in the face of the game. They only have to have 2 Digimon. Okay, you let them survive a turn and let them have their 2 little Digis. Then this comes to you, you gain 2 memory. This is ridiculously strong. Your opponent has to play this weird game where they're going to try to keep their rookie in the back, their stack in the back, and pull forwards. So we use Izzy and Joe to punish them to keep that in the raising area to hopefully we're going to snipe it. But if we can get Tsukuyamon out, now that stack coming in won't hit us for that turn, and we can now pop it off. So they combo really well and puts in this threat related analysis where your opponent has to go like, I can't do anything if I pull things from my breeding area. Can't do anything. I don't want to give them too much memory because no matter what, if you have a memory setter Tamer and then this, you're instantly going to go to 5. And 5 is crazy enough because most of our 8-drop spells now only give them 3 memory, and we can just keep punishing them straight for that, which they don't like at all. We also play TK to look into our security stack and pull out any card that we need and punish them later for. We want to make sure they get hit by these spells very easily. We also play TK for all our security Digimon get plus 2000 DP so that they hit harder when they get swung into. So that is why we play this deck. I feel like this deck is going to see a lot of local plays because a lot of players like security control since it's a relatively simple understanding deck, but it has a lot of moving parts that you can be punished for if you don't time it right. So let's talk about some extra support cards you could definitely play in this deck. Doesn't need to be 1 copy. It can be as many copies as you like. You take out a few cards, swap them in, swap them out. See how you want to play the deck. So first off, Chinchurimon is a really great security option. Being able to de-digivolve their mon down by 1 sometimes means that next turn you just swing into it to kill it off later, and it just does a lot of damage that they don't want you to do. Next, Mechanorimon is in here for that Rookie Rush matchup if you still feel like you need it. With all the options you have, you should be quite fine, but Mechanorimon just lets you sleep easy at night. We have Geogreymon being another security Digimon option that deletes one of our opponent's 4,000 or less DP. Sadly, it's not 5,000. I wish it was 5,000 to guarantee killing all of Rookie Rush. Board states just to have Geogreymon come in is really nice. We play Mistamon for on play 2 of your opponent's Digimon get minus 3,000 DP for the turn. Another solid option choice that can help you out. Wins, clear out boards, minus small things. Seraphmon's another great option for another when Digivolving security +1. Gain that extra security, which is really good. While you have 3 or more security, this Digimon gains security +1. So it can swing in for 2 attacks very easily. We also play, you could possibly play Kentorismon if your opponent is building wider boards and you're just sick and tired of them going that wide. Play Kentorismon. Drop it down, -2 security attacks, and then you go in for that game or clear board state, and they can't just get there. Dynastamon is another option that really does cause a lot of headaches for a lot of players. So when Digivolving, you may trash the top card of your deck, of your security stack, to reveal the top 6. Add two level 6 Digimon cards from among them to your hand, and then trash the remaining cards, and all turns when a card is removed from your security and you have 3 or less security, trigger recovery +1. This could keep you in the game very easily and make your opponent just cringe when they have to deal with it, because Dynastamon is such a high threat, especially with security control. Just gain a security at 3. It's like another Heat Wave or Heat Wave I mean, Holy Wave and then Emergency Evacuation, that one cost, you know, flipped in. If it's revealed in Security, Recovery +1, which is really good. Plasma Stake's another great option if you want to kill off big threats like Ancient Garurumon and, you know, Bonds of Friendship, just to get rid of them really quickly. Next, Trident Revolver is a great other option for you if you're with the high Tamer cost. You can play a Digimon and delete a 6000 DP Digimon quite easily. Next, another really good card is Red Ridem. So delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6000 or less DP, deletes a blocker, basically for 4, which isn't bad. If your opponent has 3 or more in play though, delete one of their opponents with 13,000 DP or less. If you're high in the blue department, definitely pick this up because you just want to make sure they don't get to you. Holy Wave is a recovery +1, and then Security activate main phase. Eden's Javelin, if you have a high enough hand, it's still a great card. 6 costs, trigger draw 1, then one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 1000 DP for each card in your hand for the turn. Really solid options that you guys can play. Let me know down in the comments how you think about Security Control this format, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!